The Get Better podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The opinions expressed are those of the participants. Please remember to gamble responsibly.
Welcome to Get Better Sports for April the 4th. I am Luke Boone here with Troy Gubb. Got a jam-packed one today. Tons to cover. As usual, we missed a couple weeks. Things are getting a little crazy, but we got a lot to cover here. But exciting day today, April 4th, the first day single game betting is legal in our province of Ontario up here in Canada. Super exciting. Troy, how you feeling about this?
I'm excited. I can finally stop using all this play money I've been talking about for the last 12, 15 years.
Yeah. We just been rolling with Monopoly dough for the last little while. Like,
I'm excited. What a day. Like, it's kind of funny to think that, the next bet I place on my Ontario gambling website will be my first single game sports wager placed legally.
That's right. And so to be clear for all our fans down south, because we know we've got so many of them.
So many.
Prior to this point, essentially, we were allowed to make parlay wagers only. Now we can go single game. So this is a huge day for us. There are some nuances which we've uncovered as of late. One, which is a bit of a disappointing one, to be honest, and I know how you feel about this, is we've lost daily fantasy.
Can you believe that?
It's a weird one for me, right?
I was so excited for the legislation, but it was like it kind of left that part out. That we're just going to take the how you've been wagering on daily fantasy on DraftKings FanDuel. No, not right now.
No more. You have to imagine it comes back, because I'd love to know the numbers and the percentages of Canadians that like daily fantasy and would like to bet daily fantasy continuously. Because I think that's an area where they might look at this and say, we've got to bring it back. There's just too much activity there. So eventually, yes, but unfortunately,
we're on hiatus right now.
We're on hiatus,
which
quite honestly, this week was one of the weeks that I really enjoyed doing daily fantasy for golf. It's the first week of April, Masters week, arguably one of my favorite weeks of the year. Probably has to be one of my favorite sporting events on the calendar year, hands down. Love this tournament. It's my favorite golf tournament by far. Super, super excited about it. So we're going to cover some of that, but we got a lot of other things to cover here and catch up on. And follow up on. So why don't we start? Where do you want to start? Where do you want to go?
First, Tardy Take. Did you hear Canada made it to the World Cup, Luke?
Yes, we did, man. We made it. I was at the game, the qualifying game.
You were there?
I was there. Unbelievable, man.
Look cold.
So much excitement. It was freezing. I'm telling you, first half actually wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
The second half was a struggle. The toes were just like in pain.
Did you stay to the end, even though you knew the game was like, it was 4-0? Like you knew they were going, there were new moments. Did you stick around for the celebration?
Stuck around for the celebration, the whole thing, the fireworks at the end, they all lined up, the whole bit, they announced every player, the whole bit, stuck around to the very end.
Very cool.
Awesome crowd, super exciting, fun to see. And then obviously this past Friday, the draw, FIFA. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did watch it. Very dramatic.
Yeah, very dramatic. I thought it was very dramatic too. And let's also, we should take a step back, recover that on Friday you had surgery.
I did.
Bunion surgery. Let's circle back on that, right? But I imagine the meds you were on made the draw that much more dramatic.
Everything was a little bit impactful. Heightened would be the word. Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So, and we'll circle back on the bunion surgery, because I've got an interesting take on this and what you've done this week. Very strategic of you, sir. Circle back on that. Smart. But what were we talking about?
The draw.
The draw.
What do you think about this draw?
First of all,
I like the draw
of FIFA is hilarious. The draw is fun. It's fun to watch. It's exciting. But you do get to a point at times where it's like, you don't need the balls anymore. We know.
We know you're the third guy in the thing. You don't need to draw that ball. I know what it's going to be.
And you've got all these wily veterans there trying to untwist these, like fumbling with the balls. I'm like, we know what position they're in. Just stop with
Drew it
this
out for
nonsense.
us too. Like the fact that we were last too. So
yeah,
that was kind of fun.
Yeah, it was interesting. I felt a bit anticlimactic at the end because you're like, okay, because you start doing the math and realizing like, okay, well, this team, if they get pulled next, they can't go in these groups because there's challenges with divisionals and conference, all that kind of stuff. Whatever.
Well, you got to go through the whole process of it. Okay, now I think we're over here. We're okay. We could be playing this team. We could be playing this team. Then it wasn't that one. So I was happy with the draw.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know much about any of these teams, but
I mean,
I don't fear Morocco. Like I don't fear Morocco.
So I think we pulled it
on
FIFA rankings. We're definitely, from a rankings perspective, we're bottom of the group
for sure, as we should be. We're an up and comer.
Yeah, Belgium is number 2 in the world. Great team. And so that will be the toughest challenge. Croatia had a runner-up finish. Was it the last World Cup? I don't know if it was the last World Cup or a few.
They did.
I might need to fact check on that one, but still a good squad. They're a little bit older now, so we'll see what that looks like. And then you got Morocco coming in at 24. We're at 38 if you're looking at the official FIFA world rankings. So, but I think Canada can compete here. I think their pace is going to be interesting to watch. There's a ton of excitement around this team, and I kind of think they go into this thing with like nothing to lose right now, right? Like, at the end of the day, arguably the biggest feat here was just making it in, qualifying, getting in. I think that was one of the biggest things that they were looking to do. And so check that box. And now it's kind of like, let's see where this goes.
They kind of played it up like they keep playing up the goal. Like, oh, we didn't score in 86. Let's go get our first goal. I don't like that. Like we're not coming in here to lose.
Yeah, no, I think we have to be realistic with what the team is. Like, to me right now, the ceiling is get out of the group stage. If you can get out of the group stage, unbelievable. To me, quite honestly, I think the very first step is if you can somehow get a draw against Belgium in that first match. Oh, that doesn't sound overly optimistic, but getting a draw against Belgium in that first match.
Imagine we get smashed like 9-0 or something, just ridiculous. Like,
seriously, I worry about that.
No,
and it's funny you say
I don't fear the Belgians. I don't know anything about Belgian soccer. They seem like they're a pretty good squad. Number 2 in the world. Like, all right.
Yeah, they're number 2 in the world. They're a very good squad.
Yeah, like, but name one Belgian soccer player in the history. Let's not play that game again. In the history of all time.
Let's not play that game
again. Belgian soccer player. I couldn't name one Belgian athlete right now.
Yeah.
In all of history, I could not name one.
You know what? That's a really interesting question.
Trivia question for our fans out there. Who is the most
famous
Belgian athlete in any sport? Canada does not fear Belgium.
Well, just for the record, I'm Googling right now. Most famous Belgian. The first things that come up is beer artist, chocolate singers, songs, comics. Sports isn't even on the list yet as I'm Googling.
This is what I'm talking about. Why? What are like? You don't think Canada, a little upstart, can pull an upset here? Number 2.
Okay, here we go.
Belgium walks into the World Cup.
Athlete.
They're going to take it easy the first game. It's like a tune-up. They might even not even play their best people. Probably they're like, it's Canada. They're not doing anything.
Oh man, I don't even. This isn't going to do anything here. We're not even.
That's the trivia question for our listeners out there. Can you name one athlete in the history of time from Belgium? Just one. This is why I don't fear them. We are going to surprise. And I think you're right with the draw. We're going to get a draw there.
Yeah, you know what? I think if we can sneak out a draw, that sets the tone for everything else, right?
I think we go 1-1-1, 1-1-1.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's going to be fun to watch. Other interesting fact is that it's not in the summer. Remember, anytime you watch World Cup, it was always in the summer.
Well, apparently, like warm, you're done in the desert in the summer in Qatar.
Oh yeah, no, fair. It's in Qatar. Could you imagine trying to play soccer in that heat? Like, insanity. Yeah, no. So that's the Tardy Take. Canada qualifies. There's probably a few other Tardy Takes that have happened in the world of sports and in pop culture, but we'll park those for the time being. The other thing we got to circle back on, March Madness. Oh, as we speak right now,
finals are on.
Championship.
I have not watched one game since our 32 double under theory.
Which that's what we need to recap on here. The double under theory.
So,
and where we netted out.
Refresher for those that don't remember it, the idea is you're playing on the nerves of these teenagers and you're betting in that first round that the bright lights, they're not going to be ready. So you bet the under in the first half. And if you lose that, you bet the under in the second half. This year we were doing $150 bets. Last year we were doing $100 bets. Last year we went 23-7-1 in that first half. Incredible results. And then we went 3-5 in the ones that didn't win in the first half. This year was a little bit of a rocky start. Like, let's be honest, there were points where we said we're done. The bank account's out. It's over. In totality, though, we went on a late run, winning, I believe it was 7 of the last 8 games on day 2, which really saved the day for us. We finished at 19-13. So again, not as great as last year. And then we went 6-7 in those 13 games on the backside. So could be an argument to say maybe don't play that second side of it, the second half of it, because it hasn't paid off once yet. But again, we a lot of wagers. A lot of wagers for what? I think it was $398. So in totality, if you think about it, we were doing $150 a bet. We bet in total over those 45 games, $6,750.
Win
$398.
Yeah.
Feels like it's a little risky, but
yeah,
we were only in for 5 each. Worst case scenario, we're walking down 5. So
yeah,
I'm really happy with our result. And again, it worked. So we always said that the odd year is a tough one, and every other year was going to be a little bit more rocky. So that was our bad year. I'm really excited to bank it next year.
And what I will say is, and let's give credit where credit is due, because you managed the process, and you need somebody to manage the process in terms of the Excel and watching and this and that. Like, I wasn't managing that process, and I was stressed, like crazy stressed.
It was stressful. Yeah.
I think this is not like just a simple betting theory, set it, forget it. You have to be watching, you have to be paying attention, commitment. You have to know what's going on. It's commitment. And there's lots of games happening, which rolls us right back to, what we talked about off the top here with your bunion surgery and the incredible play that you've made here on this, where if you think about it, you've got the bunion surgery, you're supposed to be on the couch, foot up, above the heart, doing all the draining, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so basically what that means is you should be sitting, relaxing on the couch. What a brilliant week in Masters Week to decide to do this and say,
it's true.
I'm sorry, Katie, your wife. I have to sit on this couch here with my foot up and rest this foot. I can't do the kid duties. I can't do this and that.
Doctor's orders.
Like, what
do we want? Long-term damage here? I need to sit down and relax.
Yeah. So when I heard about this, it like rejogged my memory about a buddy of mine who's got a brother who has always said when it comes time for his vasectomy, Masters Week is going to be the week, right? Because you sit on the couch, bag of peas, right? On the groin, doing what you got to do, doctor's orders, rest. I feel like vasectomy surgery has evolved quite a bit where you could probably be up around moving a little bit more now these days, but us as gentlemen, we got to milk these types of things. So
it's a good trivia question.
So this prompted me to do a little bit more research here.
Yeah.
I wanted to know, is there any correlation between men getting vasectomies and sporting events? And would you not know it? There is a drastic increase in vasectomy appointments during the month of March, typically at the very beginning. I swear to God. Wow. There is a study Oh, do I even have it open anymore? I don't even know if I have it open now. But there was a study in 2016. It was conducted. There was 30% more vasectomy appointments in the first week of March, and on average, any other week of the year in 2016. March Madness. This is like men have thought about this for a long time.
We are brilliant. We are really brilliant. You know, sometimes a lot of people don't give credit to men in society as a whole, but we know stuff, and this just proves it. Way to go, boys. Way to go.
It's a well thought out plan, right?
I mean,
if you have to be laid up on a couch,
when's it gonna be?
Yeah, you gotta plan those things, right? You want to have something to do, something to watch. For me, Masters Week would be the one. I would absolutely do that. Get it done like on the Tuesday, watch the par 3 on the Wednesday, the Thursday, the Friday. Now you're maybe a little bit mobile Saturday, Sunday, but it's the weekend. You know,
I really
feels like a smart move.
I would have thought that it would have been, you know, you do it to get out of something. Like, ooh, you know, got to go to the in-laws again, or, you know, there's, you know, it's holiday season. Got to do all that traveling to all the in-laws' house. That seems like a good time, but no. Men did it.
Family
They're doing
events,
it for themselves. I like that. They're doing it because they want to enjoy something on their own.
Yeah, chalking that one up for me. That's what that is.
Good for you. Yeah, for sure.
Let's do something for yourself.
Love it.
Yeah. So, hey, I thought it was an interesting stat. And I went down a bit of a deep hole in
Good
that.
find.
But kudos to you, sir. And I don't think you necessarily planned
this was
around Masters Week.
No, I wanted to be able to get out. Like, I wish I could be walking right now. And I wish I did this, 2 months ago. But demand for bunion surgery is an all-time high. So
yeah. How was the surgery?
It was tough. The hardest part about it, and I'm doing a full-on male testimonial video. You can't find young males that have had this surgery that tell their experience. So I'm documenting this whole thing, and cheap plug for that when you see it. But what I will tell you this, the funniest part about the whole thing is the assistants trying to have a conversation with you while you know your bone is being cut in half is one of the funniest, weirdest points of life that I've ever had. I'm sitting there having the conversation, hearing my bone, feeling it, because you can feel like things are going on as it's getting sort of cut in half because they got to push it all back over, and they're having just regular conversation. So how was your day? And I couldn't not acknowledge this. So I just turned to them like, I really appreciate you guys trying to talk to me right now while knowing my bone is being cut in half. Right. So they kind of giggled at that, which was hilarious, but I just spun it back to them. How was your day?
How are you not? You're not. So you're not under?
No,
they didn't put you out?
All it is a frozen in your feet.
Even?
No, frozen in your feet. And there's a little sheet thing that's in front of you. You're like, think of yourself in like a dentist chair.
Yeah.
With a sheet on that blocks right here to here. Yeah. You can feel at one point I felt like I knew because they had already cut the bone and my toe was being bent over. Like it was like at 90 degrees this way. So it was like I knew my toe was in a place it had never gone before.
And she's asking you how your day is?
She's just like, oh, how are your kids? Blah, blah, blah. Right? And I'm just like, the kids are great. So, but I kept throwing it back on them. Like, I'm going to ask you questions. Like, throw you off, right?
Yeah, let's
trying to fool me. I know what's going down here. I'm getting cut open here. I'm getting butchered.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, man, but overall, though, honestly, I'm a big fan of the surgery right now. After only 4 or 5 days, way less pain than I thought.
That's good.
And watch for my testimonial video because I think a lot of men don't realize that they might need it.
How much time till you're
6
back
to 8
on
weeks.
the golf course?
6 to 8 weeks. So I'm missing all of May golf this year. So
wow.
So see you in June, hopefully.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see that. And speaking of which, golf, good transition, good segue.
Ooh.
Over to the Masters. Great week.
Let's just do the first. We got to get the first big question out of the way. Obviously, this is where this is your area. This is your domain. I'm pretty basic when it comes to golf.
Game. Yeah.
Like to play the game, but this stuff inside and out. So I got to ask you the big question, Luke, is first of all
about inside and out, but
you know this. You're down playing a bit. This is your baby here. Does Tiger play?
So I'm going to say yes, but I have a really interesting take on this.
Okay.
And I'm probably saying yes because I'm a big fan and I want to see him play.
Mhm.
I'm saying that. And I'm also saying that based on the reports that you've been seeing,
Mhm.
that range session he had, he hit something like, I don't know what it was, 38 golf balls. He worked wedges through driver, and he apparently flushed every single one of them. Like just hit them as pure as can be. Speed was there. Like form was good. The biggest question mark is, can he walk around Augusta for 4 straight days? Like that's going to be the biggest thing with the surgery, with everything that's happened to him as of late. Like the legs aren't great. They basically, and I don't know. I didn't bother.
You can't take a cart, right?
I don't know if Augusta would let you take a card. I think you have to. Certain tournaments you can get exemption, like John Daly. Like I remember John Daly. I think now he wheels around in a cart whenever he plays in certain.
Could someone push you in a
chair?
chair?
No, what? Could you imagine a professional golfer getting pushed around in a chair,
just in a chair with some wheels,
and then rolling up to play the shot?
Yeah,
no chance. Tiger would never do it anyways because he's too prideful. He'd be like, "Oh, fine, I'll figure out a way to."
Could
to
your
make this
caddy
happen.
carry you? Could you?
No.
Is that a thing?
I mean, they probably could if you really wanted
piggyback ride.
How would they do that? They're carrying your bag.
I don't know. Like a baby Bjorn for an adult type thing.
Baby Bjorn? Like you just
just locked in?
Okay. Get your shot, Tiger. Here we go.
Anything to avoid walking on it.
But I think that's the real question is, can he actually make it around? Because and I don't know a lot about the accident. I don't know a lot about the surgery and what happened, but I'm pretty sure that right ankle is basically fused. It was like virtually severed, I think, to a degree.
Yeah.
So that thing's like fused. There's not a lot of flex in that and not a lot of strength. Now, the good news is most of it is going to be required on his left. Like his left is his front foot. That's where you're generating all your power. So the back leg is not as important. So that's good from a golf swing perspective, but you still got to walk the course. And Augusta, as we know, you'd be hard pressed to find another golf course on the schedule that has as much elevation change and undulation and weird stuff going on with elevation, all that kind of stuff, than Augusta. So that's a big question. My interesting take on this one is, and it's kind of Lee Westwood that called it out. So when Tiger on Sunday made that tweet saying, I'm going back to Augusta, I'm going to practice more, I will be a game time decision, Lee Westwood retweets that and follows up with, well, I guess Tiger just won the 2022 PIP, which is what is it called? The player
incentive program
player impact program, which is that social media program where like, it's like, I don't know how much money they throw up, but the player that drives the most attention through social media. So Tiger, he's like, there's no way I'm playing the Masters, but hey, I can pretend and I'll go and hit a couple shots.
He just wins the award,
blow up social media and win the social media check again this year. But no, I actually think realistically he'll probably come back.
I think he plays. I don't think you go that way. It's not like he needed to go to Augusta to know if he could hit balls. He just wanted to go there and make sure, everything kind of held up, I think.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting? You said that thing about because that leg is probably more fused. Could there be some outside benefit, like less motion?
I don't know.
Like less like locked in? I don't know. Who knows?
I don't know. It's a good question. Like, again, I don't know to what degree that leg is impacted, like what surgery they had to do. They kept that pretty quiet, but I mean, the other thing too is he was spotted like a week or two earlier at Medalist, which is another golf course, practicing with his caddy Joey there, right? Like, so that was the first inclination that people were like, oh, he's priming himself, he's getting ready, right? And then, so I think it'd be amazing if he did. Scott Van Pelt had a really funny tweet too, where he said he was talking to another player about the Masters who was playing in it, and he said to him, like, it doesn't matter, you could play the round nude and it wouldn't matter if Tiger comes back. Like, that's how much attention this will draw.
Yeah.
Never mind if Tiger wins it.
Oh my God.
Or is in contention. Imagine he's in contention on Sunday.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Must watch TV.
If he won it, he might own the two greatest comeback stories in golf. Like the fact he came back and won the last one.
And won the last.
No one ever thought he would.
Yeah.
Right. Like they probably have that as chalked up as his last one ever. So
this would be bigger.
Good fun story. Yeah. This would be.
Bigger. Yeah. This one would be huge, especially because it's not that long ago that he had the accident.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch.
So for our listeners out there, Luke, like this is your kind of, again, this is your bread and butter. Like, what are we looking for? If you're looking to, obviously we can talk, let's do a Pinata Pick today. Like let's do that. You can tell me a little bit more about, I remember last year, that's how I got introduced to a few new guys is I picked them in the Pinata Pick, and you told me a little bit about them. So I'm excited to do that with you today. But what are we looking for here? If you're a bettor, I think you got to bet multiple guys because the odds are great.
Yeah.
But what are you looking for?
Yeah, it certainly depends on what you're going to do. Are you going to there's lots of different ways you can bet. I think we covered this last year when we looked at the Masters. You can live bet, but you can also bet. You can bet basically buy round 3 balls, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just bet outright. And outright, again, always tricky to do because you're trying to pick the winner. Now, the thing about Augusta is you're really going to narrow it down to those top guys. It's rare that anybody comes to Augusta without a lot of course history, and wins it. Like the 2 things I think you need to watch for and pay attention to is number 1 would be your course history, and the second piece is your recent form. Those are kind of 2 things that you want to look at. You want guys that have played well at Augusta in the past, as well as guys that are playing currently really well. A lot of guys will try to intentionally peak coming into Augusta and into the Masters, most majors anyways for golf. But from a statistics perspective, if you're an analytical person, you want to dive deeper into it. To me, I think the most important stat at Augusta is probably approach, strokes gained approach. And that's one stat that I would focus in on. If you could combine 2, I would maybe say strokes gained off the tee plus approach. But then the other thing about Augusta, and I think why the approach is so important, is because of the undulation of the greens. You got to know where to hit it. You got to know where to leave it. Putting is really crucial too. You need to be able to putt really well. So, I mean, a lot of those stats are consistent across week to week to week, tournament to tournament, regardless. But if you're just kind of want to narrow it down a little bit, you want to have some fun, put some wagers, look at approach as a stat, I think would be important to look at, and look at those players that have had really good recent form for the most part and coming into it, looking really good. But then again, if you're doing daily fantasy, you got to be able to find some of those ones who, probably realistically, they're not going to win it. But could they get a top 10? Could they get a top 20 and get you some points in daily fantasy? So you got to try to find those. What I did come across, and good to share with the listeners, was a site called Fantasy National Golf Club. A really, really cool resource and tool. It's basically combines all the stats over the course of the season, historical for basically the PGA Tour. And you can just use it as a resource to go in. It is a membership. They call it a golf club for a reason. It comes with different memberships, but it is actually not terribly priced. It's pretty efficient, and you can cancel at any time. But you can go in there and you can do a number of different things. You can look at things like daily fantasy and look at percentages of who's going to own how many people and things like that when it comes from daily fantasy, percentage of ownership, and determine, okay, you got to balance that out with guys that are less likely to be owned. But then you can also just look at all the stats from the last 50 tournaments for all the golfers and determine, okay, what's your pick's going to be, who looks good, who you want to take in that. So really cool resource. Very cool. If you want to get into golf betting on a consistent, regular basis, I think it's one of the sports that, betting in general is all analysis based and it's driven by stats and numbers. Golf for sure is no different. And this is an awesome tool that I came across. I thought it was pretty good. I'm going to play around with it and check it out a little bit, but yeah, those would be the key things I would look for sure.
So, okay. Knowing all this, why don't we have a little fun?
Yeah.
We each pick 3 guys for a little friendly gentleman's bet here.
Sure.
What 3 guys are you looking at for this tournament? I'll tell you my 3.
Okay.
So I'm going with Brooks. Feel like he's due there.
Yeah.
I'm going with DJ and my boy Willie Z.
Willie Z.
I'm just going to ride him forever. He was introduced to me last year. So I'm like, if I keep saying his name and he wins, then it's going to look great. So
yeah,
Willie Z, my boy for this weekend.
He hasn't played poorly by any means in the last little while. He's a great ball striker, and he's got a pretty high finish there at Augusta. He knows the course well. So it's, again, not a terrible pick. You probably get some good value on him too. I don't know what he's at. Be interesting to look at what that value is, what you're getting for him. But you probably get some good value. Love the other two picks. DJ for me is one that I would definitely have some money on for DJ. He would be one of my picks as well. Brooks again. He kind of struggled at the start of the year, and obviously he's had some injuries and things like that, the wrist, all that kind of stuff. And then he just kind of struggled a little bit. His ball striking apparently has come back and started to look pretty good, which was the one thing that slipped on him. He's always been a pretty good putter. So, and he's got great history at Augusta. He's got some recent form. So he's an interesting one for me too. I like that. But I would definitely have DJ as one of my picks. I also really like Justin Thomas. Again, I think Justin Thomas is due for a Masters. He wants one pretty bad, playing well. And I think if he can catch lightning in a bottle this week, there's a good chance that he'll be there. And no question, he'll be in the mix. There's no doubt in my mind. I think JT is someone that can easily win this golf tournament for sure. And my last pick, it's a tough one. I bounced around a couple of different areas. I don't know that he can win it, but I really like Corey Connors here, the Canadian.
Okay. All right.
I really like Corey Connors. He's had decent form. He's a great ball striker. Yeah, to me, I think he'd be interesting to watch, but there's so many different ways that you can go at Augusta. Like Colin Morikawa is another great pick, right? How do you miss Rory? I mean, he hasn't played great, but like, this is it. He needs the Masters. He's got to get a Masters win. So I don't know if that pressure plays on him a little bit. And the only other guy that I find really interesting and intriguing here is Cameron Smith. He won the Players. The stats make a ton of sense. His short game is off the charts good. Unbelievable putter. His ball striking's not bad. The one piece I worry about him, he ranks a little bit higher on strokes gained off the tee. You really need to drive the ball pretty well around Augusta. But he's had good form. He's had a T2 here. He's had a T5 here. He's an interesting pick. And I think if daily fantasy, you probably would fade him because I think a lot of people will have him. But as an outright, you probably want to have a little bit on him. What's interesting is neither of us talked about Jon Rahm or Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler is the hottest golfer in the game right now. And again, like, no question, he could win this golf tournament. And based on how he's playing, probably should. He's another guy, like, my mind was really kind of in daily fantasy because I would have faded Scotty because everyone I figured was going to own Scotty Scheffler. Same with Jon Rahm. Everyone's going to own it. Like, but those guys as well. But I think that's the thing about golf is you can get value out of all these picks. Yeah. So what you got to do is really kind of map that out, play it like what's your budget and how you can build sort of a couple different picks and get some value out of them. Like, I think it's important to do that. Right. So, like taking Corey Connors to win it over a Scotty Scheffler or Jon Rahm, probably not a good idea, but I'm intrigued by the Canadian and I want to see what he does. I think it could be fun to watch him too. So we shall see. So
to wrap up the Masters, I think it's only fair that, we do a Pinata pick here.
Pinata.
So we're on our friends from Sports Interaction right now. And I'm going to do this Pinata pick right now. $1 pays $76. So I always find this funny is that you can, I'm going to do a $25 bet here. And
$25 on the Pinata.
$25 on the Pinata, because that'll pay $1,900 so $1,900 for this random person. Now, every time I've done it in this way, there's the likelihood of getting someone in the top is very slim. And the worst part is the person I get, I probably could have got better odds on just picking them. Right.
Yeah.
So here we go, Luke. Here we go.
Weird
Bet is placed. Please, Luke, tell me a little bit about.
Hope I know them.
Ooh, Bryson DeChambeau.
Oh man, It's interesting. So Bryson's coming off of injury. He's just coming
okay.
back.
Okay.
Yeah. So recent form is a tough one because we don't really know.
Yeah.
He's got not great course history here. So all those things would play against you. His putting is actually no
better odds.
Actually been,
they were giving me $1 paid $29.
Okay.
So instead of $1 paid 76. So I'm getting way
better odds there. Yeah, I mean, you could get worse pinata picks.
Yeah,
100% you get worse pinata picks.
Absolutely,
like the numbers don't favor him well for Augusta, to be honest with you. But hey, he could if the putter gets hot, he drives the ball well.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Are you gonna the injury is the big
pinata thing down? Hold up. Yeah, I'm putting it in right now. Let's see what we got here. So 25. Let's place the pinata. Oh, I like it.
What?
I got Bubba Watson.
2-time
master champion.
All
right. Playing with a little bit of form, not bad. Yeah. I don't mind this pick at all. Bubba Watson was a guy that I would have had some decent money on with regards to a daily fantasy. If I was doing daily fantasy,
Bubba Watson. Yep. So $1 paid 63 for him regularly. So you're getting some odds.
Yeah.
In your favor.
Wow,
Okay.
I like that pick. Those were good pinatas right there.
Yeah.
Those were
pretty good. Pretty solid.
Those are pretty good. We'll take those. So cool. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Always a fun week. I love it. I love just watching. I could watch Masters content all day. If I didn't have a day job. But yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to follow along. Check out that Fantasy National Golf Club. The other one too, there's lots of great writers. Justin Ray is another great writer, writes for the PGA Tour, writes for the Athletic, and he does a lot in the betting space. So he's another one to kind of check out and follow here and there, because he's got some great tips on this week and golf just in general. But an exciting one. We'll see what happens coming into the weekend. Hopefully Tiger's in the mix. And if Tiger can find a way to be in the mix on Sunday, must watch TV.
So last thing to talk about before we wrap up, obviously we got, Raps playoffs starting, next week. Well, let's maybe park that for next week. Yeah. We'll talk a little Leafs and Raps, who can go deeper. But Jays season kicks off this week. How do you feel about the year? And we'll tee it up with one question for you. Do the Jays make the playoffs?
Yes. Jays make the playoffs.
Okay.
I'm feeling very confident. I'm feeling very excited about this baseball team. I think you've got an interesting take that we'll get to
for sure.
But I'm excited. It's another year of this young group, another year more mature. They've made some changes. I feel like the pitching is in a better spot right now. I like the Chapman pickup. I think you're going to see Bo, you're going to see Vladdy, you're going to see Cavan all take another step, more mature, another year. I'm really excited about this baseball team. I think if they can stay healthy, Springer can stay healthy.
Yep.
I'm really, really excited about the potential here. So I think they have a great year. I'm looking forward to it. I'm optimistic about it. How do you feel?
So
are they better or worse than last year?
The fact that they expand the playoffs gives me hope. I think we can get in the playoffs.
Are you serious?
But do you think the team is better than last year?
Yeah. I think they're better for a couple of reasons.
Okay. Let's just play my scenario.
Sure. Let's play.
Did we get a Cy Young winner back in return for the guy that we lost?
No, it's fine.
So did we get
who's to say that Cy Young winner has another big year?
Marcus Semien was third in MVP voting.
Yeah.
Did we replace that this year?
Yeah. Here's what I will say. And I'll give you this, because when we had this same conversation, I don't know how many more months ago, we both said you have to find a way to sign one of those two guys back. We did say that. If we pulled the reel back, we did say that. And they didn't. But I think the pickups that they made, I think it's still exciting. I think there's still a good ball club. I think the Barrios piece now gives Rio a little bit of breathing room here now. I think they got better, but I also think they're more mature now, right? I think Vladdy lost more weight. He looks even better than he did before.
That's the only thing I will say is I'm a big trust the process guy. And, our youth will get better. Yeah. They should, much like the podcast, get better. So to me, we should, but we lost. I don't think we made up what we lost. So we're making up with what we lost through development and guys not being injured like the way they were last year. Right. So let's see. Let's see. Should be fun.
We'll see what happens. So question to you, do they make playoffs?
They will make the playoffs
only because the
only because the format of expanded playoffs are there.
Get out of here, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll see how the season unfolds. This will be a fun one to watch.
Hey, maybe we'll get a good injury on Tampa Bay. If a good injury to a couple starters on Tampa, and we squeak our way in.
That's pro sports. There's injuries everywhere, right? So you got to find a way to deal with them, get through them. That's how it goes. All right, that was a good one, long one, lots to cover there. Some exciting things coming up. Obviously, playoffs for hockey, playoffs for Raps. We got to talk about Raps next because they're just so much fun to watch.
Such a good squad.
J season kicks off. Masters week right now. Lots coming up. Before you know it, we'll be back in betting on the ponies. It's going to be great. So lots more to come in the coming weeks. But enjoy the Masters. Enjoy this week. And Troy, enjoy the couch, buddy.
I will. Full couch week. Can't wait. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks very much for listening, guys. If you like what you hear and you want to learn a little bit more about how to get better at betting, be sure to subscribe, follow, comment. We want to hear from you.